All right, Bears fans, let's get into it. The Chicago Bears are at a crossroads right now. And while a lot of people are quick to throw blame in every direction, there are some very fixable issues holding this team back. If they can clean up the details, the picture changes dramatically. You can feel it, right? This isn't a talent problem anymore. It's about execution, discipline, and consistency. And when you start stacking those things together, that's when a good team turns the corner and starts winning real football games. Let's start with the most obvious one, penalties. Way too many flags, way too many self-inflicted mistakes, and it's been killing drives before they even have a chance to develop. You don't need to be a football genius to see it. Week after week, the Bears find new ways to shoot themselves in the foot. False starts, illegal formations, holding calls that wipe out big gains, and the occasional boneheaded special teams penalty that flips the entire field position battle. These are the little things that championship-level teams just don't do, and yet the Bears seem stuck in this loop of mental errors. When your team consistently ranks near the top of the league in penalties per game, it's not bad luck. Sure, there are questionable calls every week in the NFL. That's part of the game. But when you're lining up wrong on punts or blocking illegally on a kickoff, that's not about referees. That's about focus. That's about accountability. And it's something that has to be corrected from within. You can hear it in the way Ben Johnson talks about it. He's not afraid to call out his guys and demand ownership from the locker room. He knows this can't just be a coaching issue. It has to come from the players too, the veterans, the leaders, the guys who have been in the league long enough to know better. Think about it. One illegal formation on a punt cost the Bears over 20 yards of field position in a crucial game. A perfect punt pin down at the 1-yard line wiped away because somebody lined up wrong. Those are momentum killers. You do that once, fine, but when it becomes a trend, it's a problem. Those mistakes can't happen if you expect to win in this league. When you're averaging around 10 penalties a game for nearly 85 yards, you're essentially spotting your opponent a touchdown every week. You can't outplay that kind of sloppiness. And look, it's not like the Bears haven't shown flashes of being more disciplined. There have been stretches where they looked sharper, cleaner, and more locked in. But then it slips again, and they go right back to being one of the most penalized teams in football. It's like taking one step forward and 2 steps back. The frustration for fans isn't just the losses. It's watching the same mental mistakes over and over. And when you hear players admit that they're not taking full ownership of those mistakes, that's when you realize this is more of a culture problem than anything else. But penalties aren't the only issue haunting this team. The red zone struggles have been brutal. Early in the season, the Bears looked sharp inside the 20-yard line. They were efficient, confident, and creative with their play calling. They finished drives. They turned possessions into touchdowns. That was the version of the offense fans were waiting for, a balanced attack that could move the ball and punch it in when it mattered. But since the 3rd week of the season, that efficiency has completely vanished. The Bears have gone from one of the better red zone offenses to one of the worst. And that change has been a major reason why the team hasn't been able to turn good drives into wins. You can see it in the numbers, but you can also feel it in the flow of the games. They march down the field with rhythm. Then everything stalls once they hit the red zone. False starts, holding calls, missed reads, bad protection. It's always something. And when you're constantly settling for field goals instead of touchdowns, the scoreboard starts to reflect that lack of precision. Since week 3, the Bears have converted only about 30% of their red zone trips into touchdowns. That's not just bad. That's the worst in the league over that stretch. It's even more frustrating when you think about how close they've been. 1 or 2 plays in each game could have completely changed the outcome. Against Baltimore, for example, they opened the game with a strong drive, got all the way to the 3-yard line, and then fell apart. A busted play, a sack, and then a field goal. Moments like that define games. You go up 10-0 early, and suddenly the pressure is on the opponent. Instead, you leave points on the board, and momentum shifts. It's a domino effect. This isn't about talent. The Bears have the players to get it done. The quarterback has shown flashes of brilliance. The line has had its moments of solid protection. The receivers can win their matchups. But finishing in the red zone takes precision and confidence, and right now, they're lacking both. It's the difference between good teams and average ones. Good teams smell blood when they're inside the 20. They know how to close. The Bears, right now, are still figuring that part out. And then there's special teams. Man, where do you even start? There have been a few bright spots here and there, but overall, this unit has been inconsistent at best. Kickoff coverage has been shaky. Return game hasn't provided the spark you'd hope for. And penalties on special teams continue to be a silent killer. You can't afford to give up hidden yards in this league. Field position is everything. Every 5 yards makes a huge difference in how an offense approaches a drive. When you're consistently starting drives inside your own 20 while your opponents are starting past the 30, that's a losing formula. You're playing from behind in terms of field position before the offense even takes the field. It's deflating. And while the Bears kicker has been mostly reliable from short range, there's growing concern about his ability to consistently hit from long distance. The leg strength just isn't there the way it is with some of the other kickers around the league. You see guys drilling 56 or 58-yarders like it's nothing, and then you're holding your breath on anything beyond 50. That's a problem. It's not that he's terrible. Far from it. He's accurate when he's in range. But in today's NFL, you need that extra weapon, that confidence that if you stall at the 40, you still have a shot at points. Right now, that's missing. And long term, that's something the Bears might have to address, even if it's uncomfortable. Because those missed opportunities matter. They swing games. So when you step back and look at the big picture, it's not like this team is miles away. These aren't unsolvable problems. Penalties can be reduced with focus and accountability. Red zone efficiency can improve with better communication and smarter play calling. Special teams can be tightened up with discipline and effort. These are things that come down to preparation, attention to detail, and mindset. It's about building habits that translate to cleaner football on Sundays. The frustrating part is that the Bears have already shown they can do it. We've seen them play clean games. We've seen them move the ball effectively and dominate stretches of play. But until they can sustain that consistency, until they can stop beating themselves, it's going to be an uphill climb. And you can tell Ben Johnson knows it. His approach, his messaging, it's all about accountability. He's trying to shift the culture from hoping things go right to making sure they do. When you think about what separates a winning football team from one that's constantly playing catch-up, it almost always comes down to execution. Not just in big moments, but in the small, routine details that often go unnoticed. That's where the Chicago Bears are still lagging behind. It's not that they can't compete, they've proven they can. It's that they keep sabotaging their own chances with small, correctable mistakes that add up to big problems over the course of a game. The truth is, this team has enough playmakers to hang with just about anyone. But football is a game of margins, and right now those margins are being lost on things like pre-snap errors, missed tackles, and poor communication. Take those away, and suddenly the Bears aren't a team struggling to stay relevant. They're a team that can actually dictate games. You can see glimpses of that version of the Bears in spurts. A few crisp drives here, a solid defensive series there. But it's the inconsistency that keeps tripping them up. One thing that's been discussed more and more is leadership inside the locker room. It's easy to talk about culture, but culture doesn't change because a coach gives a good speech. It changes when players hold each other accountable. Ben Johnson's been vocal about this, and he's right. Coaches can only do so much. It's the veterans, the guys who've been in the trenches long enough, who need to step up and set the tone. When players start policing themselves, that's when you know a team has matured. And this group still needs that voice that says, enough is enough. You can tell there's a hunger to turn things around. The frustration is visible. Players know they're better than what the record shows. You can see in post-game interviews, nobody's content with moral victories anymore. But all the talk in the world doesn't matter unless it translates into cleaner football. When you're giving away points with penalties and settling for field goals instead of touchdowns, you're not beating the opponent. You're beating yourself. What makes this stretch even more intriguing is that the Bears are not getting blown out. They're in these games. They're competitive. But when every contest comes down to a handful of plays, the difference between winning and losing often comes down to who's more disciplined. That's what's so maddening for fans. This team is talented enough to be better. yet they keep making it harder than it needs to be. It's also worth mentioning how these mistakes affect momentum. In football, momentum is everything. You string together 2 or 3 good drives, the energy shifts. The defense feeds off it, the crowd comes alive, and suddenly you're in control. But when you kill your own momentum with a dumb penalty or a blown assignment, you're giving all that energy back. You can't play a full 60-minute game that way. The Bears keep handing momentum over, and until they learn how to protect it, they'll stay stuck in this frustrating cycle of almost but not quite. The offense, in particular, feels like it's just one small adjustment away from breaking through. Caleb Williams has the tools. You can see his arm talent, his mobility, and flashes of that poise you expect from a young quarterback with real upside. But the offense around him has to be sharper. The line has to give him cleaner pockets, the receivers have to finish routes, and everyone has to be on the same page in the red zone. It's not just about scoring more. It's about making the most of the opportunities you already have. The Bears have been getting into scoring position often enough, but they've turned too many of those trips into field goals or empty possessions. And while we talk about execution, special teams remains a reflection of preparation and attention to detail. It's one of those units that people don't notice until something goes wrong. But when it's bad, it stands out like a sore thumb. Missed tackles, poor lane discipline, and penalties on returns have plagued this group for weeks. A block in the back here, a holding call there, and suddenly that promising return turns into starting a drive inside your own 15. It's deflating. The players on special teams might not be household names, but their impact on the outcome of games is massive. When they're losing the field position battle every week, the rest of the team feels it. And the kicking situation, as subtle as it may seem, is part of a larger conversation about how this team finishes drives. When your kicker doesn't have the range to consistently hit from deep, it affects play calling. You're less likely to take certain chances. You're more cautious. And sometimes, being cautious costs you points. The Bears are at that point where they have to decide whether reliability from short distance outweighs the need for a stronger leg. It's not an easy call, but it's one that could define how aggressive this team becomes moving forward. None of these issues exist in isolation. The penalties affect the red zone numbers. The red zone struggles put more pressure on the kicker. The poor field position created by special teams puts the defense in tougher spots. It's all connected, and that's what makes fixing it so important. If the Bears can clean up 1 or 2 of these areas, everything else starts to look better. You don't have to play perfect football. You just have to stop giving away easy points. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A storm seems to be brewing in the world of American football, and it comes with an unexpected source. The voice of the game himself, Joe Buck. Known for his measured commentary and decades behind the microphone calling some of the most iconic NFL and MLB moments, Buck has apparently stirred the pot in a way that fans did not see coming. Sources close to the situation hint at comments he allegedly made regarding the Chicago Bears that have sparked a flurry of speculation and heated debates across social media and sports talk shows alike. According to whispers in the industry, Buck's remarks were less than flattering. While the exact words remain under wraps, insiders suggest he questioned the Bears' recent performance and hinted that the franchise might be struggling to find its identity under the current leadership. The comments, if true, would mark a rare moment where Buck appeared openly critical of an NFL team outside of his usual analytical lens. Naturally, this has sent fans of the Bears into a frenzy. Social media exploded almost immediately after the first mentions of the remark surfaced, with diehard supporters rallying to defend their team, while skeptics took the opportunity to highlight the team's inconsistencies over the past seasons. Industry insiders say that Buck's commentary, though seemingly casual, could carry weight. The sportscaster is widely respected for his impartiality, and any negative insinuation from someone of his stature inevitably fuels rumors about locker room tension, coaching struggles, and management decisions. Some analysts have suggested this could be a prelude to larger discussions about the team's strategy and player morale, while others dismiss it as the typical hyperbole that surrounds media figures in high-stakes sports. The Bears organization, predictably, has not issued a formal response, but sources hint at quiet conversations within the team about the potential impact of such public criticism. Meanwhile, fans are divided, with some calling for accountability from the players and front office, and others insisting that a legendary broadcaster's offhand comments shouldn't define the narrative. Whether Buck's words reflect a genuine critique or merely a fleeting opinion, one thing is clear. The rumor mill is running at full speed. Analysts, bloggers, and casual fans alike are dissecting every past Bears game, searching for evidence that validates Buck's claims. In the world of sports, a single comment can ignite months of speculation, and this latest controversy is no exception. One thing's for sure. If this story gains momentum, the Chicago Bears may find themselves at the center of the NFL spotlight for reasons beyond the scoreboard. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.